In Movies and Money, Hollywood is all about haunted films. Our movie man, Erik Childress, is on the ghoulish scene for us now. Hello to you, Erik.
Hi, Angie.
Let's get right to it. Halloween Ends opens in theaters this weekend. Here's a sneak peek.
You pretend like you moved on, but you're actually just obsessed with death.
What are you gonna do when Michael comes back for you? Because he is coming.
But this time, something feels different. He's more dangerous.
This film opens on the big screen, but will also be available for streaming to subscribers of Peacock. How do you see that affecting the box office numbers?
Well, it will certainly have an effect, Angie. The question is, will it be more upfront or will it take a week to show? The hardcore horror fans who are still down with David Gordon Green's sequel trilogy or just want to see it play out to the end are likely to make this a very solid #1 this weekend. Very likely the biggest since Bullet Train at the beginning of August, and maybe even as high as Nope a few weeks before that. Universal would certainly love to see that, given that Halloween Kills, which opened in October 2021, opened to $49 million, but then only got to $91 million total, with likely a mixture of bad word of mouth and a realization for the curious that they could just flip on the Peacock and check it out instead of paying theater prices. Now, that bad word of mouth, I think, will keep the numbers lower on this one. Even if it turns out to be great, which the two previous films were very far from being, I believe its existence on streaming will ultimately keep it from reaching the $100 million that the 2018 film did.
October will always be associated with Halloween, and film studios have counted on that association with audiences. What have been some of the biggest horror films to be released during this spooky month?
Well, there's certainly been a great deal of horror fare released during the month of October, especially right before everyone starts dressing up for trick-or-treating. But more and more studios have relied on more than just holiday recognition, but horror franchises to make the big bucks. Now, this is the period where the Saw movies dominated for a while, and then it became time for the Paranormal Activity films to draw in horror fans for cheap scares. The 10 highest-grossing horror films to be released in October since the year 2000 have been either sequels or remakes. The predecessors to Halloween Ends, 2018's Halloween and 2021's Halloween Kills, are #1 and #5, with remakes of Japanese horror films The Ring and The Grudge, along with Paranormal Activity Part 3, rounding out the films that joined the $100 million club. Of course, the granddaddy of them all is John Carpenter's original Halloween in 1978, which, with inflation, would translate to roughly $214 million in ticket sales today.
How about some original horror films from October that you like? What would you recommend for people planning their Halloween parties in a couple of weeks?
Well, I went up and down the release schedules for October and found 3 great original horror films, aside from Halloween and the original Saw, of course, that would make perfect trick-or-treat viewing this year. And all of them celebrating anniversaries, too. Now, the first is Kathryn Bigelow's Near Dark, her amazing vampire western featuring 3 of the alumni from the previous year's Aliens, including the late, great Bill Paxton. To this day, the film is a standout amongst vampire films and just a must-viewing on its 35th anniversary, or any anniversary for that matter. Now, the next is Bernard Rose's original Candyman from 1992. We just had a remake of it last year, but it doesn't hold a candle to the mood of this Chicago set chiller. Now, the 4K Blu-ray from Shout Factory really pops and should definitely keep you away from mirrors as well as bees on its 30th anniversary. Finally, another 35th celebration of Jack Sholder's amazing 1987 film, The Hidden, which was once aptly described as Invasion of the Body Snatchers meets The Terminator, and is about an alien taking control of human bodies and using them to go on crime sprees. Now, the sci-fi film is scary and horrifying, especially given the creature's endgame, which is all too relevant today, but it's also funny, very exciting, and action-packed. So those 3 films are a great place to start this Halloween.
Well, thank you so much, Erik. After all of that, we will be sleeping with the lights on. Thanks again.
Thank you, Angie.
Go to businessfirstam.com for where to see our show on TV.